Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another round of coffee and questions. What are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about lineman's pliers. I was out in the garage doing maintenance. I even do it on my hand tools, and I started looking at the lineman's pliers. My gardener needed a pair, kept borrowing mine. I finally gave him the Pittsburgh brand that I had. So the other two that I have are Quinn and Klein. So if I had to rank these, how would I rank them? Klein's the best. I would put Quinn next because these are the ones that I own. I don't own all pairs of lineman pliers. And Pittsburgh, the least. So, well, let's talk about the Pittsburgh ones. I mean, those are the ones that I went ahead and I just gave him. They're the cheapest. They're the cheapest. I thought out of the movement, they had the poorest movement, especially in that pivot joint. Like a lot of people complained about, even with lubricant, it doesn't really seem to free up. My test on lineman's pliers is, can I control them with one hand? Without the sticking, you know, and the fussing around having to pull them apart. And somebody said, well, if you used them for a long period of time, maybe they would loosen up. Well, I shouldn't have to do that, and that's not the way that I look at it. I just look at it, you know, the true test is, one of them is, can you hold them in one hand, especially like if you're an electrician. If you're an electrician and you're twisting wires all day long, it is important to you to have that dexterity to move them with one hand. I felt too that the Pittsburgh ones I have, because I've tried them, they've probably, of the three, got the poorest cutting leverage. You know, even on small wire, I didn't, you know, you could do it, but so I put them like in a light duty, kind of maybe a little bit better category. And then the other thing I would tell you is, before you buy them, you do what I did. You inspect them. Even if you've got to take them out of the package at the register, open them up, close them, play around with them. Look at the cutting edges. We were out there today, looked at one where the cutting edges had chips out in it. So you don't want to come, you know, get them home and find that surprise, okay? So take them out, play with them while you're out there if you're going to go with, you know, the more inexpensive Pittsburgh. So what are you looking for on the Pittsburgh in particular? Well, are they dull? Are they misaligned? On one of them, the handles weren't symmetrically curved. And somebody wrote that in one of the criticisms, and they're right, because you can spot it. And can you open and close them easily? Like I said, if you're just going to DIY around the house and use them once in a blue moon, you're probably going to be fine with them. But make sure you do put a little of 3-in-1 oil or something on them. You know, it also helps to loosen them up. But they're good for DIY around the house stuff. Okay, let's talk about the Quinns next. Okay, so the Quinns, these are the ones that I bought. And what I did when I was out there, I actually forcefully opened the package, so that I could do this, and I could open and close these by hand. Now, I'm going to show you pictures of both the Quinns. I bought the more comfort grip ones. The reason why, they seem to be a little bit more heavy duty, and you may or may not like that, you know, feeling in your hand, but they're the ones that I selected, I mean, for that reason. Now, they have, in terms of, you know, the cutting edge and the teeth, you know, they've got about 3/4 of an inch. Now my Kleins, if I held them up, you know, like this, if I hold my Kleins up, let me just take them out of the package. Okay, here are the Quinns, and then here are, you know, the Kleins. So I'm going to set these, if I set these up like this, in terms of that serration before it gets to the flat part, I mean, you can easily see that the Kleins have a little bit longer serration in teeth going back in these, in the gripping part. Why is that important? Well, if you're an electrician, it becomes real important because you're twisting wire all day long. I'm not. I'm a hand, you know, like a handyman kind of DIY guy, art projects, having fun around the house. So these will be fine for me. And like I said, I'll use these as a backup pair. And they got good grip on them. This is nice and comfortable here, okay? Much more comfortable than these, but remember, these are the old Kleins. I've got two pairs. I've got one from a long ago, and I've wrapped black tape around here because I've messed them up so bad, and then I got a little bit newer pair. And both of these are great Lineman Pliers. I wouldn't get rid of them. I've had them for years and years. So the ones that I chose to go ahead and give him as a gift were the Pittsburgh ones, which were the lower end ones to me. So, you know, Klein, Quinn, Pittsburgh. That's the order I put them in. But let's move on. Let's talk about the Kleins. What is it that I like so much about the Kleins, and why did I decide to hang on to them? Well, if you read, they're made in the U.S. and they're made out of forged steel. They've got this cross-hatched knurling on here. I believe even the Quinns do. Yeah, but like I said, the Quinns, if you look at them, let's say there's this much, you know, cross-hatching, and on the Kleins you get like that much more. I didn't accurately measure it, but like I said, where it will become important is if you use them constantly for twisting wire, and I'm not. The Kleins are also what they call induction hardened knife blades on here. These tend to be much tougher and last a lot longer, especially, you know, if you're cutting a lot of wire. Now, somebody made the comment, one of the big perks about the Kleins is that rivet joint sits closer to the cutting edge. Therefore, you get more leverage, more power. Well, take a look. I mean, to me, these Kleins, it sits right there too. I didn't see a huge difference, but they say in a lot of the criticism in the comments that the Kleins, that, you know, this pivot point is, you know, closer and it gives you more leverage, more power. To me, when I hold these up just like I am for you right now, they do look very similar. I don't think there's any difference. So kind of disagree with that, but maybe other people out there got more experience than me. The other thing is, I don't feel like you do on the inexpensive, like the Pittsburghs. When these two handles are together with that rivet, I could feel some wobble in these handles. There's no wobble in the Quinns. There's no wobble in the Kleins. This is like a quick, basic overview on all of this, but what I can tell you is, one more time, if I'm a professional working in the trades, if I'm an electrician or somebody that's using these constantly, you want to go with the Kleins. I'm not, but I still have the Kleins. They were given to me, or I acquired them over time. My backup pair of the Quinns, they've been working really well for the friend in the club. That's the reason why I went ahead and bought them. I'm going to stick with these as my backup pair, or I'll use these too. The other thing, I've really abused these Kleins over the years. I've even used them as like a hammer for hammering wire nails in, and you know, I beat them up pretty good, and they still have withstood the test of time and abuse. And on the Quinns, one last thing before we wrap up, you have all this knurling back here. It's like almost like a vice grip or a vice clamp, where I can clamp down on this. And you got the cutting edges, and you have the knurling up here. Like I said, more than an adequate pair. For $6.30, I would tell you, get that 30% coupon, get yourself a pair of these. They're an outstanding value. All right, folks, I'm the Home Handyman. I hope you click subscribe. Keep following me. That's my review on these. I hope you have a great weekend or a great day. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.